Hey guys, welcome back to the Wood Metal Workshop, Project Deer Slayer. So we've gotten the grill all put together. Off camera I went and made a couple of brackets to make up for the broken plastic for the turn signals. You can see that on my Instagram account if you want to go check that out, Wood Metal Workshop on Instagram. I got some pictures there of it. And anyhow, grill's is just taped in place because I'm going to be taking off and on, off and on. I didn't want to put the clips on and be stressing it over and over again. So got started on the bumper without you. So not much, just kind of eyed it up, did some measuring, whatnot. So had to find a spot on either side of the truck that was the same. So I find center, which is right here. And then kind of look through what I had for steel scrap, or steel in stock, just to get a base for what I want to do. So far we've got some angle clamp to the identical side on both sides. That's so we can find center. And lay a piece of plate on here. This is 6" by 3/8. That's going to be what's going to bolt this to the truck. It's going to be the structure behind the bumper. I tend to build fairly heavy bumpers, as you know. If you've seen my first series of videos on bumpers, I like heavy-duty bumpers. And now, if you do a lot of towing or moving of trailers is the main thing, you'll know that it's much easier to maneuver a trailer into a tight spot from the front of the truck, not the back. Also, I didn't want to build a winch bumper. I didn't want to winch in this bumper, but I may want to winch on the front or the back of this truck. So I picked a couple of these. They're from Harbor Freight. They're just receiver tubes. They're 12 inches long, I think. Yeah, just under 12 inches long. Pinholes already in them. Now, one thing I don't like about having a receiver tube in the front is either you have to have it sticking out far enough so you can put the pin in, or you got to reach up underneath the bumper and get a pin in. So in this case, I'm going to mount them like this. So the pin will drop down through the bumper and through the receiver. The receiver tube is going to have to be drilled, cross-drilled for this. And at the end of this video, or in the next video, I'm going to build some accessories to go on this. When I build the rear bumper, I'm going to do the exact same thing. So winch mount can go on the front, on the back, and we'll have a bunch of stuff that we're going to show you on that. But right now I'm kind of trying to figure out where these should go. I've got a captive nut right about there that I want to use for bolting the bumper down. So I can't put it here, which was my first inclination, was to stick it right over the frame. So that's not going to work. I don't want it outside here because that's where my angle is going to start coming back for this bumper. So that eliminates here and here. So, and I don't want too much hanging down. I don't want anything beyond the lowest point of the frames here, which is right at this level here. So I can just get that in there, but that sticks us way out front. I'd have to come inboard, and then I'm bumping right up into the transmission cooler tube. To get past that, I got to come way into the middle, and I don't want it in the middle because I want two. I want one on each side, evenly spaced. So we're going to do a little layout here, kind of figure out where we can put these so they don't affect the approach angle. I want to keep that as high as possible for clearing stuff, because I do stuff in the woods and off-road, and this truck will be no different. It's got to have some clearance in the front end. So we got to kind of figure out where we can put that where it's not going to be in the way. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out these captive nuts. Just reach up through there with the pen, mark them, drill this plate so I can bolt it in and get rid of this, and I'll know exactly where the head of that bolt is, so I know where my mounting points are. So I'm going to go ahead and get this drilled, and we'll be back. Okay, holes are drilled. I drilled them slightly oversized. Just to give me a little wiggle room. There's basically a 1/2 inch hole is what it called for, and I went ahead and Drilled at 5/8. These are the bolts that came out, saved all of them. So they're 15mm head. Figure if they held the bumper on to begin with, they're good enough to hold the bumper on now. Not to mention they fit in the captive nuts. Go ahead and make sure we're still on center here. There we go. And then as far as in and out, measuring off the truck again. There, now we can kind of eye up where those tubes are going to sit. Yeah, I can't quite get them here on the end. Well, and just clear the nut. 2 3/8 to the inside of the face here. Want a little bit of clearance at the back. So, say 2 1/8. Or, excuse me, 2 1/2. But I need 3/16, so I'd end up I have to take off about 2 5/16 off the back, which I think would be just fine. Take 2 1/2 off the back end of these. Then they'll sit the face here. It's got this face. Will sit flush against the inside of the bumper. I think that'll work right there. I do believe I can live with that. I'll have to start my angle right at the edge of the tube. So I'm gonna have to, won't quite go as far as I wanted, which was just the right at the edge of the frame rail. I'll come back 1/2 inch more. In fact, if we draw a straight line down from the corner of the light, transfer that out to the front edge. We'll start our angle right at this corner right here. Designing a custom bumper is a lot of this going back and forth and looking and changing. That puts these right over the tow hooks as well. Alright, well, next step is to cut our angles on here on our support plate and go from there. So I'm going to leave these on here for now just for measuring reasons. Makes it easier to measure. Want to get everything lined back up after you make some cuts and off and on. There's a lot of off and on and back and forth with this stuff. And I'll get these cut down as well and we'll be back. It's kind of important to have these exactly parallel. So, because you mount a winch in here, there's going to be a stub on this one, a stub on that one, and the winch mount in between, and it's going to slide in to both of them. I know, you only need one, but since I'm putting 2 on anyways, might as well make the winch mount so it uses both of them. So we'll need a through hole, so might as well get this drilled and cut. So I got 1 inch here, got to bring it over to this one. After using that saw, you want to be careful on these edges. They're really sharp. Just going to buy eyeball center. We're going to drill these oversized anyways. This doesn't hold the pin tight. It's just a clearance hole. Yep. By angling it and hitting it at an angle, you can push your center hole to where you want it, within reason. So I'm going to go ahead and get these drilled. and then we'll move on to the next step. trying to get a little more airflow to the lower part of the radiator than stock. It'll just help with cooling, keep the truck cool. So gonna have a grill section in the middle, which kind of force air through the radiator. I think I said it before, making custom bumpers, a lot of screwing around. You spend a lot of time just designing, and I like using cardstock to make my templates. Pretty much get the whole thing built out of cardboard here, and then we'll divide it up into pieces and then cut those out of steel. Way easier to do it that way. Not to mention, if there's something you decide you don't like, not a big deal to throw a piece of cardboard away, and easy to remake. So what did we end up with here? Supposed to be 7 1/4. Yeah, 7 1/4 there. Boy, somebody can't cut very straight. This lower edge is getting trimmed off anyways. I just leave it long on purpose. When I get it in place on the truck, I'll go ahead and cut, or mark this and cut it so it meets the middle of that lower plate. So it gives me a place to weld to, and then we'll put a return on the bottom of the bumper, probably 1.5 inches. That'll make it look a little bit better and cover up some of the frame rails and stuff, and then it'll give us a... So that part's coming off anyway. So, all right, let's keep moving on. Need another piece here. Don't have any factory edges left on this, so it'll be close enough. Well, there's our first part. We'll go ahead and get this taped onto the truck, and then we'll move to the next part, which is going to be the wings.